Hey y'all, it's Chad. First of all, I want to thank you guys for giving us an incredible season 1 of From the Shadow and for being so patient as we recorded season 2. As you can see, season 2 has the video dynamic of every episode, and we wanted to make sure we could make it the best we could for you guys. We have some amazing guests coming up on season 2 that I cannot wait for you guys to hear their stories. I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Mike Davis from Dirty Mo Media. He was so nice to listen back to episode 1 to give some amazing feedback and some suggestions for season 2 that I think you guys are really going to like. And just for mentoring me in this whole podcast progression. So thanks to Mike for that. Really excited about today's guest. Season 2, episode 1, Walker Montgomery is on the show, y'all. If you don't know, Walker is the son of John Michael Montgomery, 90s country superstar. He's also the nephew of Eddie Montgomery of Eddie Gentry. And we talk about what it's like growing up on the bus and going to all these shows while your dad's a superstar, about how he went to the University of Kentucky and pledged a fraternity only to drop out like the very next day to move to Nashville and pursue country music and all the things that he's got going on now. Really excited for you guys to hear this. So the wait is over. Here's episode 1, Walker Montgomery. Have you ever wondered what it would be like growing up if your parents were famous? When the eyes of the world are on you from birth. My name is Chad Bearden, and for the last decade, I've toured the US and Canada playing country music. Along the way, I've made some amazing friends who happen to be famous or are the child of a famous person. Listen as I go backstage, behind the curtain, and talk with them about growing up in the shadow of their parents, the ups and downs of being born into fame, and their journey into making their own name and leaving their own mark on the world. Welcome to From the Shadow. All right, welcome to the podcast, and I'm really excited to have this guy in here today. You're really popping off right now, so we're lucky to have you right now. Walker Montgomery is in the house, y'all. Thanks for being here, man.
I appreciate you having me, no doubt. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, I think. So before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Ward Gunther. Gunther from Whiskey Jam.
He's a good old boy, man.
He reached out. He's like, man, you need to get Walker on your podcast. So he'll be a good one. So thanks to Ward for that.
Hey, thank you, Ward. He's a great dude.
Yeah,
He's a great guy.
And Jenny.
For setting
this up, working.
She's
out
a workhorse, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, let's jump in. So, for anybody who don't know, your dad was a massive country star in the 90s and the 2000s. John Michael Montgomery, 30 Billboard singles, 7 number 1 songs. I Love the Way You Love Me. I Swear. Be My Baby Tonight. If You've Got Love, I Can Love You Like That. Sold. Grundy County auction incident.
Yep.
And I said, hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her, she's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold on a lady in a long black dress. Well, she won my heart, it was no contest. With a ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes. Well, I'm about to bid my heart goodbye.
And the little girl, 13 additional top 10s, 10 studio albums. The first 3 of those albums are certified multi-platinum. What I Do Best was platinum. Leave a Mark and Brand New Me were both gold. So pretty impressive statistics.
Yeah,
there.
man, he did all right. He did all right, especially those first 3 albums, man. They're insane how many good songs are on there.
Oh, I tell you, when I think of like 90s, 2000 ballads, like there is no better. I mean, he's a great singer in general, but no better ballad singer.
Oh man,
I don't think.
Yeah, no, and he loved doing the ballads, man. And luckily, you know, he was good at kind of choosing them out. Him, Scott Hendricks, Doug Johnson, Rick Blackburn back in Atlantic back in the day. They kind of seemed like they found a niche and kind of roll with it.
It worked, man.
Man.
There's nothing better than a John Michael Montgomery ballad.
I love it. I listen to him still all the time, man.
Yeah. So first thing I got to know, and even if it's not true, just tell me it's true. So I think it's cool. So did your parents name you after Walker, Texas Ranger?
So they, actually they, so there was two things, at the time when I was born in '99, so I just turned 23, and there was two things at the time. When Bush 43 was president, Dad did some campaign shows with him back when you could do that, and you wouldn't get crucified for it.
Right.
And he was a good dude, always very kind to the family and stuff. Met my granddad and all that stuff. So they did a couple campaign things together, and I guess one night on the bus after a campaign event where I think it might have been in Disney World or something like that, Mom was pregnant with me, and Walker, Texas Ranger came on the television, and she was like, well, that's a sign, because I think it was between Walker and Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm kind of glad, I don't know if Lincoln Montgomery has the rhyme to it that I think Walker does. But yeah, so it is halfway through with Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's awesome. So from that and George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yeah.
That guy's just, I guess, Walker Bush.
Yeah, George Walker Bush, yeah.
Not Herbert Walker, but just Walker. Anyways, I just random question.
Yeah.
I thought
I get the
this
trust
got to
me.
be cool.
When I say my name, I guess my Kentucky drawl said, it's sometimes hard to understand. So sometimes when I introduce myself, people think I say Walter.
Nah.
And so I've learned to say Walker like Texas Ranger.
That's
and
awesome.
They're like, all right, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the same. I'm from Alabama, so I have the
Yeah.
Alabama draw. And I'm like, I have the most like basic white guy name ever, Chad. And they're like, Brad, Ron, what? So, anyways, so you were kind of born toward the end of your dad's height of his career.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you were young, was he still touring a lot?
Yeah, he was still touring a lot when Mom and Daddy had their first kid, Madison, my older sister, in '96. He took the year off, kind of rested his voice and stuff like that. He still released an album, but once '99 rolled around, they kind of figured out how to be parents, so he kept on touring. But yeah, man, growing up at damn near every weekend, he was on the road.
Right. Mm-hmm. So did you go out with him a lot?
We'd go out, if a show was in Ohio or something like that, close to home in Kentucky, we'd go hop on the bus and stuff. We had Donald Duck carpet in the back lounge and
awesome.
Everything like that. But yeah, man. So we'd go a little bit.
Yeah, and so your dad never moved to Nashville, right? He's always commuted back and
Yeah.
forth.
Neither Dad nor Eddie moved,
Yeah.
moved to Nashville. Troy was the only one that did.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess you grew up all in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was doing an interview the other day, and I realized this I guess really the first time. I moved to Nashville when I was 18, and by the time I turned 18, I had been to Nashville twice in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
So I knew how to tour and everything because we'd go out on the road with Dad. But once I got to Nashville, I was as green as it gets, man. I'm like, well, this is a big city I've ever been in.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you're there, you got so many things to do.
But up in Kentucky, it's just we live in a town of 30,000 people, and
Right.
it's nothing like here.
So small town Kentucky, you had to be like the most popular kid at school. Like everybody wants to be your friend, right?
I don't know about that. And if it was, if I was in a high school in '95 or something like that, then that might have been the case. But it was, where we were from, everybody just kind of knew each other, and it wasn't, Dad will walk into Walmart in Nicholasville and nobody, they recognize him, but nobody, I don't want to say nobody cares because that's not the case, but they don't ask for pictures and stuff like that. But if he's in a Walmart in Montana, everybody's still like, oh my God, it's John Michael Montgomery.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you said you guys went out on the road if you were fairly close.
Yeah, man, we'd always, like I said, if it was in Ohio or North Carolina or something like that, Tennessee, we'd go hop on the bus, and we had Ronnie Dunn's old bus at that time. Dad never leased his personal buses. He'd always buy it, so he bought when I was first born. He bought one from Ronnie Dunn. That was the bus that I always remember growing up. Old Prevost, and he had it till 2009, and he finally gave in and got a newer one. Right. But yeah, man, I always enjoyed going on the road. Of course, I was 5 years old. I didn't know what was going on. I'm just like, all right, well, Dad's going to work. Yeah.
So any like crazy memories from those times that you?
Not crazy. I remember we did we didn't do it. Dad did Riverbend in close to Cincinnati, and there, it's on the Riverbend.
Right.
So they parked the buses at that time. At least I don't know how they do it now. They parked the buses like right on the edge of the river, and you can just look down, and it's just a big drop. Oh, and wow. I remember I was probably like 7 years old, and I was like, well, this is the end. The bus is going over. But that was about the wildest. We were pretty.
You're traumatized after that.
I was scared. I remember being scared to death, and Mom, carrying me around, stuff like that.
Take me back to Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Oh, so did you know, like right out of the gate, you wanted to be a country artist? Was that what it was always going to be?
Man, not really, to be honest with you. I mean, my parents did a really good job of surrounding me with a lot of things that weren't music related. And, I played football, played basketball, acted, sang in choir. Choir until sophomore, junior year of high school was really my extent of music. And that, be honest with you, really, that was just because I had to have the credit, some kind of special elective credit, and so that was really the extent of my music. But no, man, they always surrounded me with all kinds of different things and kind of let me choose my own path.
Right. So you went to UK for a little bit, right?
I went to UK for a glorious 9 weeks.
You had time to pledge a fraternity, right?
I did, yeah. I did, what I guess, pledge, that's what it's called. We did that, and the day after I initiated, I dropped out of school. So
what was that about?
My heart just wasn't in it, and I was never a bad student. I was pretty good, with grades, everything except for science, and but I was playing honky tonks on the weekend in Central Kentucky and restaurants during the week and stuff, and it kind of got to the point where my grades weren't where I'd like them to be, and it was just it was time to kind of move on. And I kind of took the mentality. I said, well, hey, things are getting so easy now, college wise, do it online and everything. We can, if it needs to be done, we can do it on down the road. But it's time to bite the bullet and move to Nashville.
So you said by college you were 9 weeks into college. You're pretty busy playing bars and stuff. So when did the music thing kind of start for you?
I'd say the music thing. I think I had my first gig at Willie's, locally known in Lexington, and it was, it was old honky tonk, X's on the hands and stuff like that, and just played for 3 hours. I had a dad who. His son was a buddy of mine, and he played guitar, and just another buddy of mine who played guitar. Of course, I hardly even knew at that time. So we just did 3 hour set, 9 o'clock to whenever, and that was after that. I was like, all right, this is pretty fun. I can see myself doing this. So I'd say sophomore year of high school. I remember I still had my permit. So I was, because in Kentucky you got to get your permit at 16 instead of 15.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so I drove to my first show, and so I've just always remember that. But yeah, sophomore junior year of high school was when it really started kicking off.
So you're 9 weeks into college. You're like, screw this. I'm going to Nashville.
That's basically what happened. Yeah, and I had the freshman year college girlfriend at the time, stuff like that. So I was lucky enough to win a fan voted show that was a pregame show for the University of Kentucky football first game of the season. So I was, we were doing the show, and I'd written like 1-2 songs at that point. And my drummer, Evan, he came up to me, and I was, playing a song for him. And he said, man, we all put music to that. So we did, and we played it there. And after the show, a radio guy from the local radio station, 98.1 The Bull, said, hey, if you record that song, I'll put it on the radio. And I was like, well, we're recording the song then, you know. So and he kept his word. So by the time I had, you know, kind of gotten done with college, it was about to go on the radio and stuff like that. So it's kind of, you know, dropping out of college is, you know, I guess a bad thing or whatever. But all the stars kind of aligned for it to happen.
Right. So what do mom and dad say when you call them up and say,
well,
yeah, I appreciate the effort, but
well, I told my mom that I was going to do it, but I didn't tell Dad because I mean, when Dad was my age, you know, I guess that age, 18, 19, stuff like that, they didn't have any money or anything like that. So he didn't have the chance to go to college. So he was really the one that was pushing me to go and you know, experience it and get the degree and stuff like that. So I told Mom, but it took me a second to tell Dad.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he say?
I mean, you know, he was just, it's almost like he knew. He's just like, dadgummit, he's got the bug.
Right.
And, he was happy and obviously, you know, now it's, he can kind of see it was the right decision.
Right. So quit college, you moved to Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
and, I mean, you're the son of John Michael Montgomery, by God. So every label wants to sign you, right?
Oh, well, no, that wasn't the case, to be honest with you. But, of course, like I said earlier, at the time I was green, man.
Right.
You know, I mean, I didn't know how to really write song. You know, I'd been writing by myself, but I didn't have any buddies up in Kentucky that could, you know, that would or wanted to write. So I didn't know how to write with other people or anything like that. Didn't know anybody. And I asked Dad, I'll never forget this. I asked Dad, you know, I was like, so, like, you know anybody in Nashville for when I moved down there just to get to know people? And he was like, son, they're all dead. And I was like, well, shit, I guess they might be. But, yeah, man. So I had to.
So he kind of, you're going to do this on your own?
Yeah. And we never had a musical relationship, and we still don't to this day. Our relationship is very just father-son, and I'll call him about some things, like we were choosing out photos and stuff like that, and I didn't like one of the photos, and he just said, sometimes you got to deal with it, son, you know, and it's just stuff like that. But yeah, man, we've never really had a big musical relationship.
Right. Just keep it
father son,
yeah.
man.
Good luck with it, buddy.
Yeah, go on, do your own thing.
So you end up signing with Dallas Davidson's publishing
Mm-hmm.
company. Play it again.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know who Dallas Davidson is, he's pretty much written every song on country radio since about 2000.
Yeah, he's done pretty well.
Yeah. So how's that come about?
Man, I had Dallas Davidson was my writing hero, you know, and I don't get starstruck often, but I got a little bit starstruck when I met him. And I remember coming downstairs one morning, and I mean, it probably been 2013, something like that, and of course, Luke Bryan was rocking then, you know.
Right.
That was that, and he still is. But that was the start of it all.
Right.
Seemed like. And I walked down to Daddy. I said, "Daddy, you know this Dallas Davidson guy?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just got back from turkey hunting with him." And you know, so that all kind of started the love of Dallas Davidson, hitting his writing style and his songs. But how I got hooked up with him is I had a publicist named Vanessa Davis, who was back, you know, she was in the business and in the industry back in the 90s, so she knew Dad and everything, and she knew one of the gals that was working over at Play It Again, which is Dallas's company, and we set up a few rights and everything, and just ended up, you know, they offered me a deal, and I took it. I took it the same day. You know, I was like, "Yeah, we can figure out the terms later, but I want to be there."
Right. We're not even going to involve attorneys. Just
sign it.
So have you had any outside cuts yet?
Yeah, man. I had my first cut was on Uncle Eddie, and so he released the album, and we wrote this song. But just me, my buddy Brendan Cooney, and Chris Raffetto, we wrote the song called "Ain't She Beautiful," and it's about the flag, and it's kind of it's a ballad to you know, the American flag essentially. And then I just got a song cut that I wrote with a guy named Adam Sanders, who's a Florida boy, and he's a great dude, called Beer to There, and he sent it to me the other day, and they're gonna release it and make a music video and all that stuff for it. So he absolutely killed it. But yeah, we've had a few we've had a few outside cuts so far.
Awesome. So so you release a song called Simple Town, which right now, as we're recording this, is right about 5 million streams on Spotify.
Yeah.
So tell me about that song.
Well, that was a song that the radio guy came up and said, hey, yeah, I probably should have mentioned that. But that was a song that he came up and said, hey, if you record that, I'll put it on the radio. And I was just, how that song came about is I was going to college, and I was, it's 30 minutes down the road, but I'm still first time living away from home and stuff like that. And after a while, you kind of, you just want to get your feet wet in it. So I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was sitting at home writing on my Fender amp that I bought that I couldn't afford, and just wrote that song in like 30, 45 minutes. And it came out, and it just came out of me, and that was when I kind of got hooked on songwriting. I was like, well, this is another part of the business that I haven't, kind of indulged myself in, but I could see myself really doing this.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then you released a couple songs, like Daddy Done It, Save It for a Rainy Night, which are both awesome songs.
Thank you, man.
And then I feel like you really kind of hit your stride with Out of Nowhere.
Yeah.
And then you follow that up with an absolute smash in She Don't Know. I mean, dude, I've been walking around singing that song all day.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
It's one of those songs that you absolutely can't get out of your head.
She don't know I lay beside her late at night and wonder why she'd settle for a guy like me. That I can't live without her, dreamed about her way before I ever found her, made a better man out of me. Oh, she don't even know she's perfect. All her love, I don't deserve it. She could have any heart she wants to hold. Oh, but she don't know.
Oh man, first time I heard that song, I knew I had to cut. Same with Out of Nowhere. But yeah, man, when I signed with Dallas over at Play It Again, we got some songs, and of course my voice was still maturing. I'll go back to listen to Simple Town or that first EP that I released, and I mean I sound like a boy. And I still had a beard and chest hair and stuff, but my voice hadn't matured to where it is now. So even in the Like My Daddy and Saving for a Rainy Night songs, you can still tell it's kind of in the process. But like you said, I feel like that last group of songs, Out of Nowhere and She Don't Know, just really kind of kicked it into full gear. And She Don't Know, I saw at the time of this, it's over 12.5 million streams on all platforms and stuff. So that song's done really well for me.
That's man, it's an absolute banger.
I appreciate it.
I love that song. So as we're recording the second season of this podcast right now, and I'm not sure exactly when this will air, but you have a new EP coming out March 25th called Blue Eyed Blue Jean Gone. And how excited are you about that?
Man, so the EP's called Rust, and the single is Blue Eyed Blue Jean Gone. And but man, I'm excited. I mean, I haven't released an EP since 2019, I think. So it's I'm really excited for it. We've been releasing singles, but to have a full EP coming out is really exciting for me. And we've been holding on to some songs for a long time. So we're gonna be releasing a lot. The EP's not just the only thing we're gonna be releasing this year. So it's gonna be fun.
So what's your thoughts on the kind of single versus EP versus album thing? Because there's a lot of folks now who, if they're like, I'm only going to release singles just because of the way music's being consumed. Are you seeing that? And what's your thoughts on that?
Man, I mean, I don't know. I'm not the one who does the algorithm, so right. it just depends. When I put the EP for Simple Town out, it did really well. And then I put some singles out that didn't do as well as I wanted them to, and I put some singles out that really did well, like She Don't Know. So I think it's a hit or miss. It's whatever the artist wants to do. People got these Cody Johnson, Wallen, they're doing the double albums now,
right?
But in my opinion, it's just whatever you want to do. I mean, to me, I'll listen to full albums. I'll listen to the double album Cody Johnson on repeat, man.
Oh, so good.
But oh man, it's awesome. But I'll also go listen to singles. So I don't really know. For me, it doesn't matter.
Right. I miss the days of like actually listening to
Yeah.
albums and like putting together an album and picking out artwork and like all this like
Yeah, man.
It was like back in the day that meant something.
Yeah.
And I hate that, for a lot of folks that's that's kind of gone by. But it seems like for a lot of people now, like the attention span is, hey, I'll listen to this song, but
Yeah.
it's like, it starts dropping
Yeah.
off. So like I get it. It's like, hey, you can blow it all,
Yeah.
the whole thing
Yeah.
or you can spread that content out over a year.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand those arguments, but I do miss the days
The days of the albums,
the
man.
album.
Yeah.
And I'm such a weird guy. Like I love listening to cassette tapes still.
Oh yeah.
And like a lot of times I'll do that when I run. And there's so many like B-sides on there that you totally forget about, but you can't skip those.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
can't. No, you can't, man. Some of my favorite stuff to do is go back listen to old like Tracy Lawrence album cuts, man.
Oh my gosh.
And they're all just so, I'm like, how was this not a single?
Oh, yeah.
But then you look at other songs and it's like, oh, well, he had alibis on there, or stuff like that. But no, I'm with you on that. I love sitting there listening to the full album.
Oh yeah, I remember. You're probably way too young for this, but when I was a kid, they would send out, I think it was like Columbia House or something.
Yeah.
And you could get like 5 CDs for a penny. And it was like a subscription thing.
Yeah.
But you didn't pay up front. And it wasn't like put your credit. And they would send, and I was like a 12-year-old kid and I'm ordering Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, man. You're
Clay
like,
Walker.
sweet.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get a bill for, $200.
You're like, well, where'd this come from?
yeah. And you're like, what are they going to do? I'm 12.
Yeah. They gonna take them away? Yeah.
So do you have a favorite song off this EP?
Russ is my favorite song off the EP. We were supposed to cut it in 2020. We went in the studio right in the middle of the pandemic, which might not have been the safest thing to do. But we said screw it, we got to have songs, and we were supposed to cut this song Russ, but another artist had it on hold at the time, and as soon as we got back into the studio in 21, and we kind of circled back saying, hey man, you ever gonna cut this song? And they let it go. So that is definitely my favorite on there, and it kind of reminds me of Simple Town, where it's real personal, man.
I like that.
Odds are, if you watch TV, you've seen plenty of ads for lawyers.
It's usually a lawyer telling you how great they think they are. But at the Verdoliak Law Group, it's different. It's always about the client.
In fact, all of us are actual clients, and we're here to proudly tell you how much the Verdoliak Law Group has done for us.
What impresses me most is how much the Verdoliak Law Group believes in their clients. They only get fees if they win, and they use their own dollars to take cases to trial.
It's that ability to fight for their clients and win at trial that has helped the Verdoliak Law Group recover over $9 billion, and the insurance companies know that.
$9 billion, over 30,000 clients represented, and almost 60 years in business. That's a testament to their strength, knowledge, and success.
In fact, call them with all your legal needs. Like the saying goes, if they've been around that long, they must know what they're doing.
If you're injured in a car or truck accident, any work-related injury, or as a result of a medical error,
Call Verdoliak Law
Group, where it's always about the client.
Injured? Call Verdoliak Law Group.
So do you feel like with this EP, like you really found your lane? Like this is.
I do, man. It like I said, it's been a while since I've released the EP, and I'm excited for. I mean, I can hear it, but I'm excited for everybody else that have been following along with my music, especially since the beginning, to kind of hear how my music and my voice and writing and everything has kind of evolved over the years. Because I mean, I grown up a little bit.
Yeah.
18 to now I just turned 23, so I've had more life experiences, man, and everything. But I'm excited for it. I think we've got a sound that we've honed in on, and we're really passionate about it.
Yeah, you've been touring a good bit lately too. You're out with Parker McCollum.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, and Parker's the best, man. He's a great crew, great guy, hell of a singer, and great writer and great songs too, man.
So are you out with them for extended period of time?
We're not. I mean, we'll do like weekend runs. We don't have a set
Full
tour
tour with them.
but yeah, man, he's always just so gracious to my boys and me and everybody on my crew. So I love going out with him. He brings out a great crowd too.
Yeah, you just did a show in Charlotte at Coyote Joe's.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How was that? Who were you there with?
Parker.
Oh, you were with Parker there. Yeah.
He sold it out, man. But Coyote Joe's, I'd never been there. I'd done the Tin Roof in Charlotte a couple times, and I love Charlotte as a town, but I've never been there, and that place gets rocking, man.
Oh, that's interesting. So I have a house in Kannapolis, just outside of Charlotte, and we've been to several of the shows there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting spot there.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
It's fun. I talked to the owner. It's weird, they got my dad's picture on the wall when he played there, and there's so many places around the country that we're going, and I'm like, I'm playing the same places that he played when he started out.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
It's got to be like
it's weird, man. I'll tell you what, but it is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you touched on a little bit that your dad's not the only famous person in your family. So Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry is your uncle.
Yeah,
and so I've never met your dad, and I've only met Eddie in passing.
Oh yeah.
So
that might be a good thing. Man.
Well, so we've been on a couple of shows together, a couple of bills together, and maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Mm-hmm. But it seems like your dad is the more chill,
absolutely
laid back guy.
Absolutely, man.
And I've never seen Eddie when he just wasn't like ready to burn the place down.
I've never seen him, and he's my uncle. I've never seen him. He's always man. Just and apparently even when they were in high school, it's the same way. He was always kind of the class clown, stuff like that, and Dad was real reserved and everything. Eddie always had the cool cars, and Dad was driving like a Pinto from everything. Hit it in the back, and it'll blow up. But you're 100% correct about that.
So if somebody's coming out to a Walker Montgomery show, is it going to be more like your dad or more like Eddie?
I'd say it's a pretty good mix of it, man. I'm not putting the devil horns on like Eddie does. I can't pull that off, but it's we try to have something for everybody in there. So I'll pull out the ballads that I've recorded and the out of nowheres, kind of up tempo and stuff like that. So we've I'd say it's a pretty good mix of the both.
Have you perfected the spin of the microphone?
No, man, I'm scared to because he duct tapes his microphone onto the stand.
Oh yeah,
and I know if I tried that, I'd get a lawsuit. Is what would happen because that microphone would fly off, hit somebody in the head, and I'd have to sell my bus and stuff like that.
I remember, like, I used to think it was cool to try to spin my mic and catch it.
Yeah.
Until it hit the stage about 15
I've
times.
done that a few times. I've done that a few times.
I thought it looked, and it's really cool when it works.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work, which is 9 times out of 10,
yeah,
it's a disaster because then there's all the feedback.
It's bad. I've thrown it up and I've caught it, but it was like on the wrong side, and I didn't realize it. So I started singing into the wrong side, and then I'm like, oh.
And then you become a meme.
Yeah, and then I become a meme. Yeah.
That's awesome. So as you're coming up through the ranks of country music, a lot of people, like we talked about, they kind of pigeonhole or maybe even look down on kids as stars. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you've been given a fair shake in this industry, or were you perceived a certain way? And if so, do you think that you've overtaken those doubters?
I mean, I think there's always going to be those folks that are kind of, I don't know if bitter's the right word for it, but it's, daddy's money, daddy bought him all this gear or whatever like that, which isn't true. But I do think I've gotten a fair shake, and I think my music stands out. Doesn't sound like Eddie, doesn't sound like Dad, or anything like that. So I've had very few instances where we get people that are, kind of dicks about it. I mean?
Right.
That's the best way I can put it.
Hey, we're here to say whatever you want to say. So you have a pretty big presence on TikTok.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Is that something you enjoy?
At first I didn't really, I just felt kind of awkward doing it.
Yes.
I'm like, man, I'm sitting here alone in my condo singing to a camera like 13 times in a row, trying to get the right TikTok. But now I do enjoy it, man. And I the lives and stuff like that. I've met some cool people, met some weirdos too. But I had one girl saying she was a vampire.
What?
Yeah, she was strange. But
Did she show up at your house? And
no, she didn't. I didn't. She goes, "Where are you?" And I was like, I'm in Wisconsin," which I was not. But
I have a steak and a glove of garlic.
yeah. I'm actually in Switzerland. But no, man, it's fun. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it now.
Yeah, I see you on there a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I only follow, I don't know, probably 80 people.
Yeah.
So you pop up in mine a lot. But man, I like it. You cover a lot of those 90s country songs and
Yeah.
which is my favorite era of country music. So it's really awesome to see you singing those.
Well,
I like that a
I
lot.
appreciate it, man. And I find myself every time I sit down to write a song alone nowadays, I just end up singing like old country songs. So at that point, I'm just like, well, hell, I might as well just record it,
Right.
and see if I can get some views or something on it. But I appreciate it, man. Those are my favorites to sing too.
Yeah. So what's a typical day in the life of Walker Montgomery these days?
Oh man, these days, it depends on if we're on the road or not, really. But in Nashville, I wake up, watch the news, see how everything's messed up, and then
News guy, I like it.
And in the morning time, it gets me jacked up for the day because I'm like, man, everybody's an idiot, I mean,
Well, you're in a town full of idiots
yeah.
here. It's like they come here for vacation.
But then I like singing my demos and stuff in the morning because my
Yeah.
voice is deep and I haven't talked all day, wore it out. Sing a demo 9 or 10, hit a ride at 11 or something like that, and then try to hit the gym. Try not to, try not to have ice cream or something like that, and then just go to bed. I've really got a simple life, and then I'll go out to Losers or something on Friday and do a round or have some drinks with the buddies and stuff like that.
Yeah. So your sister's been in the spotlight a little bit lately too.
Yeah.
She got engaged to Travis Denning.
Yep. Yep.
So what's it like having that guy in the family now?
Man, he's the funniest dude you ever met. I mean, I'll tell you what. And he's my best friend now. At the beginning, we were both on the road. At the beginning of their relationship, they're both on the road all the time, and it was before 2020, COVID
Right.
and all that stuff. So we didn't really have time to get to know each other. But then during quarantine, he came up and we bonded a lot. We had the bright idea to get kegs. So we'd wake up at 10 a.m., something like that, and go up to the barn, try to act like we fixed something, and we'd end up messing it up, really. And we'd just kind of look at each other and be like, you want a beer? But so we just pop the keg and just drink all day. But no, man, he's a
what
great
else
dude.
you gonna do in quarantine?
Absolutely nothing, man. I'm still trying to lose my quarantine weight, to be honest with you.
Same.
But no, man, he's a great dude. He's good to her. I say they're crazy matches each other.
How's like Kentucky, Georgia football? Because he's a Georgia guy, right?
Well, hell, they kick our ass every year, man. So that, I mean, I root for them. Of course, everybody's from Georgia. I mean, that I work with.
Right.
And I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family,
I'm the Bama guy, so I'm the guy
Yeah.
everybody hates.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Black sheep of the family.
you can say
Is
it.
that
It's
politically correct?
It's
I don't
fine.
know.
Yeah. It's
But that's one of those things we might want to take out. But no, man, once basketball season rolls around, I kind of give him some hell, and
Right.
and he's like, well, we don't care about basketball, and I'm like, I can tell, but because we kick your butt every year, man.
one of my buddies is a big Tennessee fan. And,
Oh, yeah.
and they've not beaten us for as long as he's been alive.
Yeah,
And he's like, well, we still got basketball. I'm like,
whatever, man. Yeah,
whatever you got to tell yourself,
Yeah.
bro. So I also didn't realize until I was prepping for this. I don't know how I missed it, but Dylan Carmichael's your first cousin.
Yeah,
too.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eddie and Dad had a sister, and that's her son. I think that's her oldest son.
Yeah. So your family's just going to take over country music.
Man, I don't know, man. There's just there's so many of us. It's people are always like, well, that's your cousin. Of course, back home, everybody seems to be my cousin,
Right.
But
Especially now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Like I went to high school with your daddy. I'm like, all right. But no, man, he's a great dude. I love what he's doing. he's got a great voice.
Oh yeah, I like his stuff a lot. So besides the EP, any other big things happening?
Just going on the road, man. Really, that's my favorite thing. Playing songs for people, and every time we go somewhere, especially after 2020, it just seems like every time we step on stage, more people are singing along, more people know who I am, and they're more attentive to listen to the songs that they don't know and listen to the unreleased songs and stuff. So that's the main thing, just trying to get on the road and get shows booked.
Right. Do you do any of your dad or uncle stuff in your shows?
We'll throw it out sometimes, but we got a medley, of some old songs. But when during my acoustic set, I usually pull the songs out my but I always do Rope the Moon. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite dad's, and it's a favorite of the ladies too. So that helps it out.
What a great song!
Yeah.
So if people want to follow your journey, get a hold of you, request a song on TikTok, how do they find you?
WalkerMontgomery.com. If people still use it, .coms and stuff like that. But Instagram, just Walker Montgomery. And I can't stress enough, it's the one with the blue check mark. I get so many of these folks like, do you really need that money I sent you? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you sent some dude in New Jersey who is in his mom's basement pretending to be me. But
which it just blows my mind. Like,
it blows
at
my
this
mind
point,
too.
it's not hard to figure out whether these accounts are real or fake.
Yeah, well, hell, you got there's an indicator with a check mark, man, and
I'm not as famous as you.
Well, I mean, it just really helps out when you're trying to.
Oh, for sure.
Get people to follow you and stuff.
I'm never going to ask you for money. I'm never going to send you a message.
I'm never going to send. And a lot of the messages they'll send like a screenshot, and I'm like, these people must not know me at all. Because do you really think I'd say that to you? It's like, hello, my beautiful fan. Thank you so much for following my career, and send Cash App. I'm like, oh man.
Oh God. And who just sits around and thinks of that?
People with too much time on their hands.
I think I'll be Walker Montgomery today.
Mm-hmm.
I can make a solid $12 today.
But the thing, there's a fake account of my sister going around right now, and they DM me, and I'm like, out of all the people in the world to DM, you chose me,
right?
The guy who was with her at the time. I'm like, what's going on, right? But yeah, man, it doesn't make much sense to me.
Man, I know that you are crazy busy these days. And you got a million things going on, so I really appreciate you making the time for this.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I really do.
Yeah, I've loved having it. Best of luck on the EP. Hopefully, I run into you out on the road this summer.
No doubt, man.
Love that. So, Walker Montgomery, y'all.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all.
Thank you for listening to From the Shadow podcast. New podcasts are released every Tuesday. If you enjoyed this show, please share it with at least one friend and tag us on Instagram at From the Shadow Podcast. Also, it would help us tremendously if you would rate the podcast on Apple Music and Spotify. From the Shadow with Chad Bearden.